Sie hören Sport und Musik.
Das Spiel ist aus! Deutschland ist Weltmeister!
In a world where fans fight over whether to call it football, or soccer, two German men defy the odds and call it Fußball. Bringing you inside the German-American football experience. And now, here are your hosts, the Schnitzel Boys.
Yeah! Whoa! Was it just me? Or is the intro music a little bit on the quiet side? Is it just
on
me?
the quiet? I turned it up today.
Oh, did you? Maybe it's me. Maybe it's my headphones. I don't know what it is, but we had. I think last week when I did it was too loud. You know. Again, there's an ongoing open position for Schnitzel Boys tech.
We got this. Come on,
we got this.
We got
let
this.
me double check to make sure I am testing. I mean, I'm on my microphone, right?
You sound good.
Yeah, sound good.
Yeah.
Right?
Do I sound good?
Yeah, you sound good. You sound good.
Okay, good.
Yeah, I did.
Well, I'm back. I'm back in New York City.
Real quick, you are peaking a little bit.
I am.
I'm peaking a little bit. Yeah.
All right. So I'll move it a little bit. I move it back a little bit.
Or move back. You sound good right now. You sound good.
Okay,
right
good. This is the perfect position.
Yeah, you're back in New York, baby.
Yes, I had a great trip, but now I'm back. My teams are all crapping out. I was fortunate.
Yeah.
I can only thank Queen Elizabeth II for dying, because at least that way my Premier League fantasy team couldn't lose. Because everything was canceled. So shout out to the Queen.
To God for killing the Queen for us. Thank you. All right, we got it. Risk. Sorry, all this trash stuff's popping up on my computer, and I don't like it.
What's happening?
Oh,
yeah. Anyway, so
nonsense.
Other than that, all my teams are terrible, but I will prevail. I don't care. Well, it's not that I don't care, but I am feeling energized. I have turned a corner. I'm feeling energized by all this misery.
Good.
So we'll see. We'll see how this.
Good.
We'll see how this shakes out. My coach, my beloved coach, Thomas Reis, got canned today.
Was he?
Yes, he was.
Oh, that's news to me. I didn't know.
Yeah, that was they set him free. This is what this is worthy of a Sprachgefühl. They were like, oh, we have set freistellen. I don't know. Wir haben ihn freigestellt.
You mean like you let him? It was like you take a horse out to pasture. It's like
we have him. Well, it's like we freigestellt is more like it's like let loose. You know, somebody freed. We have exactly like open.
Hey guys, our coach. Remember our coach? We let him loose, baby.
We let him loose. Yeah,
this is. I guess.
It's a euphemism. It's like what we say now instead of firing somebody. Yeah, so he's out.
Well, good for him. He can probably do better than a club.
Well, this was the.
That's what it was.
This was the commentary in Kicker magazine, and I couldn't agree more that Thomas Reis will be back in the Bundesliga, but Bochum maybe not.
Will not. I like that too. I was thinking
anyway, not to pounce ahead too much, but yeah, there's a lot to talk about. What do you got?
Well, I was thinking Thomas Reis would be a good candidate for whatever the next clubs are. Who knows who needs a new coach? Maybe Dortmund at some point.
I think
I forgot who it was. There was someone specific like, oh, Thomas Reis would do well there. I forgot what it was. Bayer Leverkusen's probably next.
Well, I said Man United last year. But, that was
hey,
obvious.
Stranger things have happened.
Not realistic, but
they went to Holland to get their coach, as opposed to Germany. But yeah, so okay. Well, they got rid of Thomas Reis. Maybe it was Thomas. We'll see who's next in line to be the coach at VfL Bochum. Do you think?
Well, I think they got Heiko Butcher as an interim coach, and they're looking. I guess they said they don't want to get a fireman, a fire like somebody to just keep them up. They want the team fucked this up. I mean, there's really no other way to say it. They had Sebastian. I talked about it last time. They had Sebastian Schinzelords and Thomas Reis. They should have counted their lucky stars and done, but they, it's just a small time club, and they mucked it up. And now they let him go, and they're gonna go down back into Bundesliga 2. Whoever's coming in, I don't think can save them, and then they're going to be there for a while. That's just what's going to be. And Thomas Reis might go. I don't know. Maybe he'll eventually join Sebastian Schinzelords in Wolfsburg, or he'll be a candidate for whatever next job. Oh, look at this! Look at those pants. Amazing legs. The Schnitzel Boys. The Schnitzel Boys viewers, if you're lucky watching this on YouTube, you just got treated to.
What happened?
To look
you see my legs?
Yeah,
I'm wearing pretty short. I'm not wearing pants right now.
No, amazing.
Thankfully, we have 0 viewers, so I'm good. Sorry, my fan was being squeaky, so I'm like, it's probably picking up. So I turned it off. Better safe than sorry. I don't know if it was picking up or not.
All right, very good. Well, I was saying how Thomas Reis is going to be a candidate at whatever Bundesliga club is looking next.
Yeah,
he may join Schinzelords in Wolfsburg, maybe Leverkusen. We'll see. Yeah. He has a bright career ahead of him, and Bochum is going down most likely.
Maybe Union Berlin after Urs Fischer goes to Chelsea or some big club. Not Chelsea, but
Union Berlin is the number 1 team in Germany.
That's right. I mean, Urs Fischer is on his way to Bayern München or something next year. I don't know. maybe. Or Chelsea or something. Brighton Hove Albion. Yeah, maybe they'll go to Brighton. I'm sorry to hear what's going on at Bochum. We'll see what happens. It's funny. 3 coaches have been fired, at least, since the last time we've spoken. Thomas Tuchel was fired.
Oh, in Chelsea, yes.
Domenico Tedesco was fired. RB Leipzig, same day. It's funny. RB Leipzig, Domenico Tedesco is the German version of that, because they were pretty wishy-washy, and they had a heavy defeat in the Champions League, kind of by the same scoreline. Or no, not even by the same score. They had a heavy defeat. They lost 4-1, I think, against someone. I forgot who it was. Krasnodar or something. And Chelsea lost 1-0. But I'm getting this mixed up a little bit. RB Leipzig lost 4-1 in the Champions League midweek after only getting 5 points in 5 games, I think. So they fired him.
No, but Chelsea lost pretty badly as well.
Wasn't it just a 1-0? Chelsea lost 1-0 to Krasnodar.
Well, I mean, it was Zagreb.
I don't know who they lost to. Oh, Zagreb. There you go.
It was Zagreb, but
RB Leipzig lose to.
But
either
it was
way,
more than
they both got fired right then and there. It was a little early. But Shakhtar Donetsk beat them 4-1. That's what happened. And I don't really care about Tedesco because it replaced Jesse Marsch. I was a big fan of Jesse Marsch, and apparently, rumor has it. I forgot what my source is. I should remember my sources. Jesse Marsch was always uncomfortable at Leipzig. Even when he was an assistant, he thought it was really toxic. He didn't like the environment there. And then when he was head coach, it was worse. So that's essentially why he quit. He quit pretty early. He's just like, if you guys don't want to do this high press, I'm leaving. So he left, just backed out of there. And then Domenico Tedesco did great last year. I thought he did a really good job. But apparently there was it wasn't amazing at all. And they fired him early. So what's his face? Oliver Mitzlaff. There's a lot of focus on him again. Trying to see what's going on. And there's a little more heat on our friend Oliver Mitzlaff again. Remember when less than a year ago we fired Jesse Marsch, and he was under a lot of heat from the Doppelpass guys and Mr. Round and stuff. And, we'll see what's going on in RB Leipzig. But they just got, what I will say is they just got Marco Rose.
Yeah.
I think that was quite a masterstroke because he is the perfect coach for them.
Yeah, I mean, Tedesco did well, but he was not so great in Schalke. I don't know. It was sort of, the jury was a little out for it. And I mean, they have a good team on paper, Leipzig, this year.
Yeah, Vanna and Kuku.
And so they were not, I don't know. I mean, in this case, they were not ready to watch this go on for much longer, and they got Marco Rose and immediately got a turnaround. I don't know. I think this team could be good. I think that might be a good change, and we'll see. I mean, they look great, and
they had I was really excited to watch the BVB Dortmund game. No, excuse me, the BVB RB Leipzig game, because that was sort of the two, those were the big matchups this weekend on paper. And Dortmund offered no fight whatsoever. RB Leipzig just dominated that game from beginning to end, and it was Leipzig the whole way.
Yeah,
our boy Gio Reyna came on to give a little spark, almost assisted right away, but there was just a little spark. It was not an exciting back and forth game. You never thought Dortmund was ever going to do anything. It was just Leipzig dominating the full 90 minutes like they were playing some bottom feeder. Dortmund had very little to offer. So it was kind of a dud of a game, to be honest. But it was a very strong win from RB Leipzig, and seemingly they bounced back immediately. So, yeah, we'll see what the future holds for RB Leipzig. But neither Dortmund or Leipzig or Bayern München are top of the table these days. We have an Union Berlin, and I think we have a Freiburg in second place as well, if I'm not mistaken.
That's right.
So good on them.
Bayern in third, yeah.
Bayern in third. Now, Bayern had 3 draws in a row. They dropped points 3 weeks in a row. Week 1, it was like whatever. Week 2, they're having a good time in Berlin. But week 3, Thomas Muller was pissed. Thomas Muller said something. He's like, all right,
as he should be.
As he should be. He's like, enough. Radio Muller had a broadcast, and he said, this is enough. We're not good enough for this. We need to play better. Those were not his exact words, but he said something. And we'll see if Bayern München can kick their butts around for next week. But they dropped points 3 weeks in a row. And, it's funny how the narrative did switch pretty quickly. When Bayern München were destroying Frankfurt, it was like, well, this is unfair. Here we are 6 weeks in. It's like, yeah, I guess it's a little more of a more of a toss-up than we realized.
I definitely was guilty of that. I was like, oh, the last team they beat was Bochum, and everybody beats Bochum.
That's right. Here's a question for you, Bjorn.
Yes.
If NYCFC played Bochum, who would win, NYCFC or Bochum?
It's a good question. I have asked myself that. I think NYCFC right now would lose.
Okay.
Because NYCFC right now is losing to everybody. Also.
That's correct.
And is defensively. I would say that the MLS Cup winning NYCFC team would beat Bochum.
What if NYCFC's new coach was Thomas Reis? What do you think about that?
That'd be amazing. That'd be fantastic.
Yeah, it'd be worlds colliding.
That would blow. It would blow my mind. I would probably have a stroke.
Oh, that's not
it
good,
would be so odd. But no, I'd be down. Or Tuchel. Why not get Tuchel?
Yeah. I'll tell you though, I don't get Tuchel. It seems like he's an asshole and everyone hates him everywhere he goes. Like everywhere. He was fired at Dortmund for being an asshole. He was fired at PSG for being an asshole.
I think in Chelsea.
And I think he was just fired at Chelsea for being an asshole.
I think Chelsea. Well, I think the Chelsea owner was probably upset that he wouldn't let him get Ronaldo.
Was that happened?
I bet that's. Well, there was some. I don't know. I mean, it's always hard to know what the vibe really is like behind the scenes. But there was some talk. There was some talk about, because there's this new ownership and they have these American dudes and they apparently want it. They just needed more input in transfers because they let everybody go from the old regime. And, Chelsea had some pretty savvy transfer workers there, but they all left with Abramovich and the new owners really didn't have a lot of expertise, and so Tuchel was called upon to spend a lot of time talking to them about transfers, and I think that was a source of tension where Tuchel was like, it's too much. Like, I cannot spend... I understand, he was saying how, I understand this is a special situation, I need to step up and they need my help, but my job is to coach the team. I can't be in all these... And so apparently they were like, WhatsApp groups and other chats that the owners set up for Tuchel to participate in, and he was just very reluctant to really engage too much. And apparently he sent an agent or his agent to one of these meetings, and that was the straw that broke the camel's back.
Yeah, that's an asshole move. Come on now, that's why you get fired.
I don't think. I mean, I'm not signing on to this idea that Tuchel is an asshole. Is that official? I don't know. I haven't heard that. I mean,
let's play a scenario. Though.
Okay, let's do it.
You be an American investor who wants Ronaldo. You be Todd Bowley or whatever. Some American Yahoo who doesn't know anything. And I'll play Thomas Tuchel, and I'll tell you the way a professional coach should act. So you do you, and I'll do me.
Hey, dude, Thomas.
Hey.
We can get Ronaldo. I just got a call. I think we can get Ronaldo.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, that's so cool. I love Ronaldo. Ronaldo was an amazing player.
Oh, I think we can get him. I think
you think?
United wants to get rid of him. I think we can get him for a song.
I thought United wanted to keep him. I thought Eric and I really want to keep him. I love Ronaldo. I think he's an amazing player. I think he's a great player.
Oh, that's great. So, all right, I'll make it happen.
What I will say, though, he's 37. He's turning 38, and last season wasn't super productive. I just, What do you mean he scored more goals than anybody on United? What are you talking about? How many? Didn't he only score like 4 goals last year?
No, double digits. He was the leading scorer on Man United. Yeah.
I like Cristiano Ronaldo. It's just we spent $300 million.
Let's go. Let's get him. I'll make the call.
I would love for you to make the call.
Oh,
I can't promise you he's going to be more than just a bench sort of player.
What? What do you mean?
Yeah, I'll take him off the bench. The way he's being played at Man United right now.
We don't have a 9. Who are you going to play at the 9?
Pierre-Patrick Aubameyang.
Wait, no, this is earlier in the year. This
Wait a minute, no, this is the meeting. When was this? This was past week.
This was before. This is in
preseason. Yeah, let's put Cristiano Ronaldo on the short list. There's a great guy named Pierre-Patrick Aubameyang. He's a young guy. He's played with him.
He just went to Barca. I don't even know.
He wants out of Barca. Barca
never heard of him.
Barca's desperate for cash. They're fire selling.
Pierre, what? I've never heard. I don't know who this person is.
He had a Nike carved into the side of his head.
Cristiano Ronaldo, the second best player of all time, at least, perhaps the best.
Can you get Leo Messi instead?
No, he has a contract at PSG. Thomas, don't joke with me. I'm being serious here.
I'm not joking with you.
We can get Ronaldo. I heard from his agent.
I think that's a good idea. I just want to give you my honest feedback as head coach. I don't know what to use in my plans. You said
make the call. However, I'm going to make the call.
I don't know how to use in my plans. I'm the head coach. However, if you really, really want him here, I'll make it work.
Well, let's do it then. I get it. I'll get him.
All right, cool.
Well, now you got Ronaldo on your team, Tuchel.
Yeah. Oh, what a shame! What a shame!
Now you got Ronaldo. You just got yourself Ronaldo.
Yeah, whatever. The second best player in the world. As a head coach, why would I be like, oh no?
Because he's poison. Because he's poison on and off the field.
Are you sure? I think off the field.
100%. He's poison
off the field. He demands greatness from his teammates.
You're Ronaldo.
And as head coach, I'd be like, I demand the same greatness.
My God. Come on.
I mean, I don't know. Again, I'm not in the behind the scenes.
You could not be for a few years now. You cannot be a Champions League top team and have Ronaldo on your team. That does not work.
Well, but you force it on me, I'll bench him. I don't know. If he doesn't offer much, I'll just keep him on the bench. I don't do. Sell your jerseys, and I keep that guy on the bench.
Well, I don't know. I think you have convinced me that Thomas Tuchel was right with this exercise.
This was an interesting exercise.
To stand up to the owner.
I will say this was an interesting exercise because I doubted. You're right. I kind of felt for Tuchel for a second. That was an interesting experience. I was like, oh, yeah, you're shoving a guy. Like, I'm going to be the scapegoat for this. And I don't want to be the scapegoat for this.
Well, and I
assumed that, like, I don't like the whole idea of whininess and blah, blah, blah. And like sending an agent. It's crazy to me. I'm honest. Because head coach, I don't want him. Like I'm allowed to say that as head coach. And then as an owner, your job is to you just kept shoving them down my throat, which could very well be what they were like.
Obviously, this was an exception. I think.
Was this not a transcript from an actual board meeting they had? We've got our sources.
I have sort of had this very strongly in my head. This in my imagination. I definitely think this happened, and there were some hints towards that like. Although then I read in The Athletic that the owner kind of let the Ronaldo thing go pretty quickly, that he wasn't really that insistent on it.
That's what I'm saying. It sounded to me, it's like, what about Ronaldo? I heard about him. And the coach is just like, oh, he's fine. He's a little past his prime. And I'm not hearing the best.
But there was definitely...
I didn't want to get rid of him for a reason. You know?
And there was definitely some talk of, like of just Tuchel just having... And I guess that is also a German thing, just having no patience... for fools, or like doesn't have a lot of time to explain to the new American billionaire owner the subtleties of a soccer formation. There was a rumor that was strongly denied by Chelsea that at some point the owners had like drawn a formation on a whiteboard that was a 4-4-3. That basically had an extra player on the.
Well, that's what you get Ronaldo for.
If you had an extra, if you that would be perfect. His position, the designated striker. If we got a designated striker,
you know what it is? It's the
soccer.
It's the new movement that there's no more goalkeepers. We don't need them.
Yeah,
we don't need them. We just need 11 field players. If they do their job, a goalkeeper is not needed.
Perfect. Anyway, well. That was fun, and Thomas Tuchel got sacked. I think.
But it sounds like it's a good situation for him to leave. So.
Maybe. We'll see how it goes. They got Graham Potter, who was very highly regarded. He did very well, and.
But it's also a poisonous situation. They spent $300 million without a football director, and then when they were done spending that money. $300 million. Has a Bundesliga club ever spent close to $300 million on anything? No, never in the history of the entire league. $300 million. Chelsea spent $300 million in one summer of players because why not? And right when they're finished with that, literally a week, if not less than a week, when the transfer window closes, they fire the coach the players were for.
Right. Well,
and then they hire some new coach.
That's just how it's been for Chelsea. They've fired other people who've won big titles for them. They have a big
sophomore slump over there.
Not since Jose Mourinho has anyone been there for 3 full seasons.
Right, and that was his first time there. I don't think his second time he was sacked because he came back and won in the league, right? And then that second season was like a disaster. They were almost relegation fodder.
Yeah. They have been very antsy with their coaches, and so. I'm not surprised. I thought this might happen, and we'll see. Tuchel, he'll find something. He'll find something good.
Thomas Reis goes to CFC. Thomas Tuchel goes to Bochum. Domenico Tedesco, where does he go? He goes to Bayer Leverkusen, maybe. We need to carousel this fast. We need to get him back to working again right away.
It's all gonna be I have. 2 of my friends are fans of Nottingham Forest and Celtic Glasgow, and they were both worried about their coach. They were like, "Oh, somebody's going to poach Steve Cooper from Forest or the Celtic coach." And I said, I don't have that problem. Nick Cushing, anybody can, anyone's welcome to have him.
All right, well let's stay on a European side of the pond for a little bit.
Sure,
league's been fun. Ish.
No, it's been good. It's been good. There's been a lot.
I watched the Augsburg Werder Bremen game, and a little bit of a boring game. Werder Bremen had an equalizing penalty at the end that Gikiewicz, one of my favorite goalkeepers, who's gotten in fights with fans before. He got in fights at the Berlin Derby. I think he got in 1 or 2 other fights before. He blocked the penalty and then ran after the fans to go mock the fans. And then his other teammates were telling him to get out of there, and the other teams because the fans stormed the field. Did you watch this game at all? They left the stand. They didn't storm the field. They left the stands. They were all up to the ad boards, so they stormed the running track. But there was no running track, I don't think. But they were way too close. They hopped over the fence and they got up to the advertising boards, yelling at Gikovich, and Gikovich was right in their face, yelling back. And we've seen that before from Gikovich. I remember at the Berlin derby a year or two ago. He did that right at Berlin fans' face on the field. He had to defend himself. And this time he went out and defended himself again. He said, they made fun of my family or something. So he went back. He's like, screw it. And I'm just like, more power to you, man. I love it.
More power to you.
Fans shouldn't be. If a goalkeeper blocks a penalty for good reason, you're not allowed to storm the field as a fan. Have you ever done that? I've never done that. I don't. I'm a human being and I'm an adult, and I would never do something like that.
Only after the Tampa Bay Rowdies game.
Yeah, but that's not on TV. So no one cares. No one cares the club broadcast. But
fair.
So that happened. But that was a little bit of excitement. Good on for Augsburg. They got the 3 points right after they got rid of Ricardo Pepi. They started winning again. So good for them.
Ricardo Pepi got an assist for Groningen.
A little bit of an assist. Yeah, a little bit of a generous assist, though. He sort of passed. He passed the field.
You have turned. You have turned on Pepi.
No, he got assist. Good for him. Good on him. That's the Augsburg Werder Bremen game. So that was the Bundesliga.
You want to talk about Max Kruse, friend of the podcast, Max Kruse?
We have a few people to talk about. Let's talk about Max Kruse.
Well, Max Kruse is not going to play for Wolfsburg anymore. Niko Kovac has said he will not help the team. He cannot help the team.
Why? Where is that? Is that an off-field thing? An on-field thing? What is that?
This is what he said. This is that's just how he said it. He said, well, we have determined that he won't be able to help the team, and so we're not going to put him in. And then he said that he's going to decide when his time at the Bundesliga is over, not anybody else, which is not really true because he can't put himself in a game. Now there's all kinds of rumors. Inter Miami, of course, always come up when this kind of thing happens.
Wait a minute, hold on. What do you mean? Max Kruse is linked to Inter Miami?
According to Bundesliga news, bullynews.com, okay. not a super reputable, not a great source, but he has said he's not interested in going anywhere. He wants to prove that he's still got something to give. And I don't know. Max Kruse, he is. I saw a stat, and he's the only player who scored double-digit goals for 6 different Bundesliga teams. And that says 2 things: that he's pretty good, and also that he moves around a lot. Because
no one likes him. He's got Thomas Tuchel disease,
and I don't know. I'm not down with the Tuchel slander here. I don't know. Is he why?
I know he was gotten rid of at Dortmund because him and Watzke didn't get along.
All right.
Well, maybe even him and Missel.
But I mean,
he just didn't get along with people at Dortmund. So
is Watzke not an asshole? Probably.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You look back on that and you're like, maybe it's Watzke. Because Marco Rosa and Watzke didn't get along either. I don't know. That's on Watzke.
That's may not be on Tuchel. We'll see.
Right,
I don't know.
Right.
Anyway, Max Kruse is looking for playing time. I don't know. I don't care for him that much ever since him calling the Bochum fans asozial. So it sort of gives me a little tickle to see see him. And yeah, Union Berlin certainly don't miss him.
No.
They're at the top.
Jordan Pifak healthy back again, and Union Berlin
he missed a penalty though. Missed a penalty.
Well, we'll make him anymore. He's on the field. He's doing his duty. He came from the Swiss league to the Bundesliga and slipped right in like a glove. So good on him.
Well, is this a good time to talk about the U.S. men's national team roster, perhaps, since you're bringing up Jordan?
We could. Didn't you want to talk about Karl-Heinz Rummenigge?
Karl-Heinz Rummenigge, he gave an interview. Yes, we can talk about that first.
Or we don't have to. I don't know. Tell me.
And
I'm always curious what Rummenigge has to say. The dude's a very important figure in German football, and when he speaks, people listen.
Yeah, and he said a thing. He was apparently upset with Julian Nagelsmann, and perhaps this is time. It's time for
Sprachgefühl, 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 Sprachgefühl,
Sprachgefühl, where we explain German idioms or things that Germans say. And what Rummenigge said to Julian Nagelsmann was, "Schuster, bleib bei deinen Leisten."
Okay.
Have you heard that? A
No.
Schuster is a shoemaker.
Can I guess
it's basically,
what it means?
Yeah, please.
No,
please.
I don't. I was about to say. I don't know. I was about to say stay in your lane, but
yeah, basically that's the exact, that is the correct translation. But the word for word translation is shoemaker, stick to your soles, basically.
I mean, do what you do.
Do what you do what you are good at and what you know about. Like when people on Twitter say stick to sports or whatever.
Right.
And this was in
Don't
response
quit
to
your day job. It's
yeah, exactly. Don't quit your day job.
Right.
Stay in your lane, however you put it. So the way Rummenigge puts it is Schuster, bleib bei deinen Leisten. And he did not think that Julian Nagelsmann should have made comments about Barcelona's transfer business. He, because Julian Nagelsmann earlier in the season thought it was weird how Barcelona has no money and yet affords all these players.
Right.
And then Barcelona kind of fired back and said, stay out of this. And Rummenigge agrees with Barca. He said, stick to what you're good at, which is coaching the team. Don't be talking about other people's transfer business. That was Karl-Heinz Rummenigge.
I think I'm on Team Rummenigge for this one.
Okay. He also made a comment about Robert Lewandowski, and because he's coming back tomorrow, Robert Lewandowski's coming to Bayern with Barcelona tomorrow for a Champions League game, and
that'll be fun.
And this was a classic sort of Rummenigge. It was kind of a dig in got disguised as a compliment. He said, "Oh, people should be nice. People should be nice to Lewandowski because he's achieved a lot, and he did a lot of good things. And we should be nice to him because he was the fourth most important Bayern transfer ever." Which I think that's
very interesting. Do you think? Two things. Do you think that was him being like manipulative on purpose, or B, do you think he was just being flat out honest in German and like he has a list in his mind?
I think this was a compliment, just a dig disguised as a compliment. Because I think Erling Haaland went on Twitter and he said that it was sort of a disgrace the way Lewandowski was treated in Munich. And
I don't know about that. That's an interesting how he's treated in Munich. Like, I think there's more of a story that I'm very curious about. He wanted to leave and he left. I don't know what to tell you.
Well, he wanted to get a big contract at age 35, and Bayern just doesn't generally do that. And so, yeah, I don't think that's really, is that disrespect if you don't want to overpay for a player's
so he went and got his money,
and then he
Bayern
got paid somewhere else. And I think, that was another thing he mentioned that was another thing that he did for the club. He came on a free and left for 50 million. So he's done a good. So let me ask you this. This is my trivia question for you. Who are the three players that Karl-Heinz Rummenigge thinks were more important transfers for Bayern than Robert Lewandowski?
In the history of all of Bayern München?
Well, I guess this is all in the last. I'll give you this much. It was all in the last 15 years, I guess.
Okay, well, Frank Ribéry and Arjen Robben are 1 and 2. And then 3 would be Manuel Neuer from Schalke.
No, very good. Yeah, I think it wasn't this order, but very nice. Those are the 3 that
I can see where it's coming from.
That he rates more highly than Lewandowski.
Yeah, I wouldn't list it that way.
No,
you know what I
unless you want to hurt somebody's feelings.
I know. It's like, why is that such a specific list? Those are 4 different positions I just listed.
Yeah.
Like when Virgil van Dijk went to Liverpool, and I talk about England, but like he was the last piece of the puzzle. When they got rid of Loris Karius and hired Ali Son, and they signed Virgil van Dijk, those were the last piece of the puzzle. They didn't change the team, and like they were 2 very important signings, but the rest of the team was already strong enough. Like he just went and got 2 other pieces of the puzzle to make it stronger. It's not like the 2 of them were the kings and without them they couldn't win because of them. It's because they're a piece of the puzzle. So Frank Ribéry and then I want to say Arjen Robben came maybe a year later. Did they come the same summer? I don't remember.
No,
I think Arjen Robben came. I think Frank Ribéry was there a year prior.
Yeah, I think so.
I think if memory serves, Luca Toni and Frank Ribéry were bought in the same summer, and Arjen Robben was bought later that summer. Remember Luca Toni?
Yeah.
I think they were just really great. I guess that started the dominance of Bayern, but that was everything. That was Jupp Heynckes. That was Philipp Lahm. That was Manuel Neuer. That was Thomas Muller. It was just a crew they had. Yeah. They had a great generation of players. That was Thiago. They had
2009. Ribéry arrived in 2007. Arjen Robben in 2009. I'm just looking.
Oh, 2 full seasons. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
And speaking of Philipp Lahm, what do you make of this? Our friend in Stuttgart, they now appointed this triumvirate, I guess. Is that what 3 people are?
Yeah, triumvirate, yeah.
Triumvirate, however you say that, of ex-players. Philipp Lahm and...
Thomas Hitzelsperger?
And no. It's not him. It was Sami Khedira, Philipp Lahm, and who's the third? Gerstner is his name, perhaps? They are some kind of an advisory committee that's been hired by Stuttgart to help them.
Okay, good on them.
What do you mean? What do you make of that? Would you?
I remember Stuttgart was a really well-run club, and they were lauded for their management. And then not a month or 2 went by, and they had this management controversy where, like, the vice president was running against the president or some crap. I don't remember exactly what was going on. But I remember they were lauded for how good they were run. They had who'd they have? They had they had Thomas Hitzelsperger as president, I think, or something like that. They had 1 or 2 other good figures sort of also in charge doing great work. And they had Materazzo coming in doing good work. And everything about the club being run was just good or whatever. So it seems like they're trying to get some of their crap a little bit together. And honestly, I think Sami Khedira and Philipp Lahm are from their most successful era as of late. I want to say they won a Bundesliga title with them. I could be wrong. I know Sami Khedira was part of that squad. I don't know if Philipp Lahm was. I know Philipp Lahm's used Stuttgart as its coming out party because he was on loan to Stuttgart from Bayern München's reserves, and he crushed at Stuttgart. He was like player of the year or winger of the year. Then Bayern München's like, good, we want him back. And then the rest of history became Bayern and German national team captain after that. So more power to him. I think Philipp Lahm is a smart guy. Sami Khedira is a smart guy. But as we've seen also here in MLS, ex-players maybe don't make the best managers. So
and plus, it's it's this weird sort of committee thing. I don't know. It's 3 of them.
I guess they just offer opinions. I don't know. I guess
3 of them. They're going to report to the sporting director. They're not. They were asked about money at this press conference. He was like, "Oh no, they're not making." Even altogether, they're not making as much as one sport director would. So there's it's sort of a bit of a head scratcher. It's like, what exactly are they supposed to be doing? So I guess we'll see. Time will tell.
Experimental. What I will say, though, is no one knows how to run a football club better than a German does. I'll tell you that. There's a reason half of the MLS sporting directors are Germans.
And if one German is good, then 3 Germans must be 3 times
three times as good. Well, I want to say, I mean, don't quote me on this. I think DFB is the only organization that actually has a Sportdirektor like training certification where you can go and get educated in the subject matter. No other country has that. It's just like he'll be a sport director. We know him. He's a former player. So maybe they all have to get certified or something. Who knows? But more power to him.
Yeah.
Also, it could be simple. It could be simple pandering to the crowd. It could be like your former players are involved. Like look at them. I love seeing former players involved. I think that's one of the cool things about Bayern München. There's probably a little bit of heat right now in Oliver Kahn in general, but I love that they're great players, get trained and go on and become their office members. And you see them in the stands.
Yeah, and they're all such.
Not some stranger.
They're all such humble, likable.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, what I will say is Oliver Kahn has seemingly toned down in his adulthood. When Oliver Kahn was a player, that dude had a mouth. He said and did things, and he was just a beautiful, beautiful spirit. I loved hearing him talk. I mean, God, there was so many Oliver Kahn stories. There was a fundraiser where every time Oliver Kahn was scored on, this children's home or would get $1,000, and he blocked every kick because he says Oliver Kahn cannot be beaten.
Not even for the children.
It's against the charity. I remember when Oliver Kahn kind of blundered and Real Madrid scored on him last minute in a quarterfinal or a semifinal, I forgot which, and rolled under his arm. He's like, damn it. Then after the game, he says, I will beat them single-handedly in München. So I will beat them single-handedly, he would say. How is a goalkeeper going to beat Real Madrid single-handedly? Riddle me that.
No.
Him and Lehmann were always at each other's throats.
Lehmann, I mean, speaking of assholes, that guy could pick a fight in an empty room. Yeah.
Yeah. I highly recommend going on YouTube and looking up one of the famous CDF talk shows, forgot what it was. And Lehmann and Oliver Kahn are there together, sitting on the same couch, pretending to be friends, but they don't even look at each other. they don't even acknowledge each other barely. They're just like down their heads, like, yes, I'm also here. I mean, Lehmann, I think Oliver Kahn left his pregnant wife to date some 19-year-old girl he met at a disco or something.
Well, that's what's going on with Thomas Tuchel too, right? He's going through he's got a new lady, yeah.
Wow. See, I'm telling you, these Germans are hard-headed. It's no good. No good. But it's good on Rummenigge for maybe patronizing Barcelona a little bit, saying it's none of your business, which is true. Maybe he's saying, I hope no one looks at our finances. Although I'm sure their finances are on the level. But more power to them. But the Bundesliga is going. We got some big games coming up. We'll see if Bayern München keep it up. We'll see if RB Leipzig will keep storming. We'll see if Union Berlin can keep their form up. Maybe Freiburg can be hanging up there. I don't know. It's 6 weeks in, still early. So I'm still feeling by the end of the season it'll be the old faithfuls again. But I don't know. We got a World Cup this year, and it's a little bit of a different year this year. And we'll see what happens. Speaking of Germany and the United States, do you know who's playing in Kaiserslautern in 2 or 3 weeks?
No.
The U.S. men's national team. Team USA
Really?
is playing. Yeah. They're playing Japan.
USA
is playing Japan. Oh, no. Dusseldorf.
Why are they playing Japan in Germany?
Honestly, I don't know and I don't care. No, this is their final training camp, and it's in Europe. I think they have a game in Spain against Saudi Arabia and a game in Germany against Japan. The tickets came out. Tickets are $10, $20 for premium seats. Typical, nice, cheap Germany. Granted, the demand's probably low for U.S. men's national team game versus Japan.
You can fly. You could probably buy a plane ticket for what it usually would cost you to get a ticket
here in the States. I mean, I would love to be there. But yeah, Team USA is playing in Germany.
So now let's talk about the roster then. That's about we're about to find out. I think this
on Wednesday. Yeah,
the
2 days.
last squad
Roster, last squad
before the
November deadline for the
November
real
camp.
squad.
So who'll be in, who'll be out?
November's not a camp, Bjorn. The squad gets announced, I think, 3
That's
days
what I'm
before the
saying.
game
This is
against
the
Wales.
last camp
Yeah, this is
before
the
the
last
World
camp.
Cup. That's what
Yeah,
I'm trying.
yeah.
That's what I'm
Gotcha.
sorry, it's my second language. I'm trying my best.
Okay, so the Middlesbrough coach came out today and said that they're sticking with their bench warmer and that Zach Steffen isn't getting a spot back. So Zach Steffen is officially on the bench at Middlesbrough in the championship. So will he even make the plane at this point?
He should not make the. I mean, you know how I feel about this.
I know, and you know what? I think I'm with you, man. It's like Horvath, Sean Johnson is playing. Matt Turner played Europa League. Like, he's not playing. He's not the number one, but they gave him the first Europa League game. I think that says a ton, by the way, for a major club to play their first Europa League game with their second choice goalkeeper. Yeah. That's great on Turner. Good on them. He had a really shaky, bad back pass early in the game. But other than that, he had a reasonably decent game. He's going to have some cup games. So Matt Turner will get some minutes. And I think it's Matt Turner in goal and then Sean Johnson and Horvath on the bench at this point. Yeah, I agree with you.
All right. Yeah, that's what it should be. I hope that's true. Yeah.
I don't think that's what's going to happen. I think Zach Steffen's coming. But I don't think he'll be playing.
And so who do you think is gonna get the third spot then? Horvath or Sean Johnson?
No,
Sean Johnson.
Yeah.
All right.
I don't think that's the case, but it's just like, at this point, Greg Berhalter has come out and said 85% of his roster is settled. And I think the numbers means there's only 4 to 6 spots open. So if that's the case, the goalkeepers are probably pretty set then, right?
I think it's 3 out of those 4. I would say that's probably it. Yeah,
definitely. So what are the big? You want me to nail down a whole roster, or what are you thinking?
I don't know. Do you want to? We could. I mean, I think it is pretty clear who the players are that are definitely going, and then there's a couple of people on the edge. I don't know. I think
our number 9 situation got real cool all of a sudden. It went from a disaster to like, hey, we got some options now, kind of. We have 5 players scoring now all of a sudden. Jesus Ferreira had a great game over the weekend. 2 really great goals. Brandon Vasquez is still scoring.
I mean, I think Ferreira and Josh Sargent at this point are guaranteed.
Ferreira's a lock.
Ferreira's a lock. Josh Sargent, I guess, should be a lock.
You're right. He's probably going to be a lock.
And then the third person is a question. Is it going to be Vasquez? Is it going to be Pefok? I mean, people seem to think that Berhalter is done with Pefok, that he needs.
He does that. He's also not great with Haji Wright. He wasn't really super complimentary on Haji Wright last time.
Well, I think Vasquez might be ahead of them right now. I don't know. It's hard to say.
I wouldn't be surprised. I think if you asked me last week or 2 weeks ago, I think Vasquez is shoo-in. But now all these other forwards are scoring. And heck, what if Ricardo Pepi starts scoring on Groningen all of a sudden? Is he back? Maybe.
Well, he has a lot of ground to make up though in a short amount of time. I think he is pretty far down the list at this point.
As far as this September camp, he's got to bring in Pefok. I think he has to. Can't ignore Pefok.
You think he has to?
Yeah. I'm not talking World Cup. I'm talking September. He's going to bring in Pefok. He's going to bring in Brandon Vasquez because he hasn't played yet. He's doing Pefok and Vasquez, and then probably Josh Sargent.
And Ferreira, that's too many strikers.
Well, that's what I'm saying. At this point, go experimental. Like it's the last trial run.
But I think
get the 3 forwards who are fighting for the last 2 spots or something.
I think Berhalter has made up his mind that Pefok is not going to be in his plans. I think he's had his chances with the team and hasn't done all that well. And I think his club form is good now, but I don't know. We'll see. That'll be interesting. That third spot, is it going to be Vasquez? Is it going to be Sargent? Is it going to be Pifok? I think Ferreira and Sargent probably he has to call. And then the third person is.
I don't know about Sargent. I mean, maybe I'm silly, but like Sargent has never played well for the U.S. men's senior team.
That's not actually true. When he's had his moments.
Wait, name them. Which moments?
Well, he's been solid when he was playing regularly. Like when he was up and coming, he was a very solid.
I'm talking for the U.S. national.
He was basically playing better for the national team than he was playing for his club team for a while. But then, eventually.
Maybe I'm just boiling it down to he played against Uruguay and St. Louis. And it was kind of disappointment. And I don't know, unless I'm missing something, I don't remember him doing so well in U.S. colors. And with Greg, that's a big thing. That's kind of why Jordan Pifok's not getting called. It's kind of why maybe Haji Wright. It's also definitely why John Brooks isn't getting called in. So, like, I think that really matters for him. So
I think Josh
Sargent hasn't really.
I think Josh Sargent has made himself undeniable at this point, but maybe not. We'll see. It'll be interesting. And I mean the wingers are the most obvious, right?
They're settled. Tim Weah, Brendan Aaron, Gio Reyna's healthy, thank God.
Weah is hurt, so he's probably not going to make this.
Yeah, well, I'm curious about someone like a Paul Areola. Is he still on the plane?
Well, he's going to make this. He's going to make the squad. Going to be. I think he's probably ahead of Jordan Morris, right, at this point. So I think Jordan Morris.
It's a shame.
Jordan Morris is on the bubble. I would say for.
Since his injury,
it's going to be questionable. And Paul Areola too is probably going to be one of the last people on the. But yeah, that's true. And then the midfielders are also pretty straightforward.
Yeah, MMA is settled. Gianluca Buzio is not getting the love that I wish he got because he's playing in the second division now, and I like Gianluca Buzio. Seems like people have kind of gotten. He's sort of lower on the list now.
Am not. I've never been a fan, and I'm not a fan now. Malik Tillman is probably going to get a call.
Exactly. Malik Tillman's a little more popular.
So it's going to be Acosta, Adams, De La Torre, McKinney, Musa, and Malik Tillman. Christian Roldan is also on the bubble. Is also now hurt, and so questionable. He's probably on the edge of the squad anyway, much like Jordan Morris, his teammate.
But James Sands might get a shout at this roster again.
Well, I think James Sands is now really a center back by all accounts. So he might be in that group. I mean, they're
kind of light on center backs. So, like I said, he might be brought in.
Zimmerman and Chris Richards are the starters, right? At this point,
Zimmerman, yes. Chris Richards, we don't know because he's not playing. Perhaps he's not playing. He should have stayed at home.
So he's questionable.
His replacement will be Aaron Long, and Aaron Long's extra questionable because he's
gonna call in Cameron Carter-Vickers, Aaron Long, Chris Richards, Walker Zimmerman, and then maybe James Sands, maybe Mark McKenzie. Mark McKenzie's playing better now.
He's playing.
Sam
Vines has been playing.
Well, Sam Vines he's a fullback, so he'll be a.
Yeah,
fullbacks. I'm thinking of as
for the left back position is one of our weakest positions. We have no depth in left back, and Jedi Robinson did get injured. I think 2 weeks ago. I think
and Vines. Yeah, I think the fullbacks we have Cannon and Dest and Yedlin and Vines and maybe Scally, maybe Shaq Moore. I don't. But again, those are only the people that are on the bubble. And I think
Scally is another one of those guys. Who Greg Berhalter did not have great things to say about him at camp. He's unimpressive at camp. So the fact that Scally is doing great for his club, I don't know if Greg Berhalter cares about it that much. Not right now. So that's also one of those things of like, will he bring him in? He should. Scally is great.
And he can play on both sides, and also that position is so light. I think he benefits from that because there's Dest and not a whole lot else. Like even Reggie Cannon is.
I don't think Reggie Cannon's on the plane at this point. He was our best right back once upon a time.
I think
it's Dest and DeAndre Yedlin.
I think that position there's still an opening there.
Right.
But yeah, I think that's And now I don't know how many we've named, probably like 27, 28 people. So not
30, 35,
so
35.
beyond these people, it's hard to imagine anyone. I guess Mihailovic, the midfielder, he just changed teams. Where did he go?
He's going to
Alkmaar,
but he's going in January. Yeah.
Oh, right. And so he's still in Montreal.
That's actually a good shout. I think it boils down to, like, if I were him, I want to take a look at a handful of players. Brandon Vasquez, Georgi Mihailovic are probably tippy top on that thing. And check this as a wild card. Maybe not. But maybe, just maybe, he wants Brooks one more time.
What?
Brooks found a club. He's at Benfica, I think, right? A Champions League club. It's been Champions League football, and Benfica
on his way to Mallorca.
And Benfica plays the style of soccer with the high line that Greg plays, and criticized John for not being good at it. Now John has specifically joined a club that plays that way, and he's making himself undeniable. If he can get some
that's a huge. This is a huge leap.
What I'm saying is, like, that's the big wild club.
He found a club to making himself undeniable. Yeah, I mean, I think that second center back spot also there's an opening. Yeah,
open.
Still, that's true with Miles Robinson.
And when John Brooks is focused, he could be the best player on our field. If he's in best shape and he's focused, he could be. It's crazy how inconsistent he's been.
He hasn't played a lot. He has not played a lot lately. No,
he also has off-field stuff.
It'll be interesting to see who he calls in. It's probably whoever is not on this roster, like barring injury or whatever, is probably not going to go to the World Cup. So,
well, we have if Matt Turner is in, like, it's a lot of ifs for the World Cup. If Matt Turner is in Matt Turner form and Jerry Robinson is healthy and happy, and Brandon Vasquez or Josh Sargent's up top scoring goals and feeling good form, then I'm very excited about our chances in the World Cup.
You mean like to win it?
No, not to win it, but to do well and go make a deep run. That's three ifs. And what we know about the World Cup is key players get injured. They go missing. Not go missing, but like they get injured or like all of a sudden they're off form. They're just not good at that tournament, which happens to players sometimes. You know, or I remember in 2014 when USA played Ghana, 3 or 4 players pulled a hamstring or something. Remember that? Remember that game?
Yeah, I mean, a lot
of Josie Outdoor came out. He had his hamstring pulled 10 minutes in. Then there were 2 or 3 other players had their hammy pulled by halftime. Everyone's having their hammy pulled. What the heck is going on here?
A lot of these guys have been a little injury prone. We don't know. I mean, there's a lot of. Listen, this is one of the most talented teams that the U.S. has ever sent. But they're also very young. They're also very young, and there's a lot of question marks over a lot of. I mean, Brendan Aronson and Tyler Adams are doing great with Leeds. Pulisic, we'll have to see what happens with the new coach in Chelsea. Is a question mark.
Yeah.
We'll see. But
there's a lot of celebration. There's a lot of celebrating. I'm just like, no. Christian Pulisic wasn't a bench because of his coach. Christian Pulisic was benched because when he played, he provided nothing. That's why they benched him. Christian Pulisic wants to play week in and week out, he needs to do better. I'm sorry, and he's at a club where that's a thing. So, but it's on him. He needs to do. I want him to do better. He has the potential to be as good. He has the potential to be as good as he once was. It's in there somewhere. It's in him. Christian Pulisic is a beast. He just has to put his heart into it. He's got to get it done. I think he can get it done.
All right.
If he could, it's a tale as old as time. If you're good enough, you'll get played. A coach has no interest in benching a player who can perform.
Yeah.
It's as simple as
that. He has not. I mean, he has not looked good in his performances off the bench lately. We'll see. New coach.
He's been good in the past. But then he's been given stretches of playing.
I'm talking about this season. Season when he's come
even
off
last
the bench,
season
he's looked a little lost. Yeah.
He has. He's been very uninterested. Last season he was finally given a string of starts, and he did nothing with them. He was pretty poor, so he got benched. And it's like that's what happens. That's what happens. The other player's ready to go, especially at a club like that where they have $300 million of signings waiting in the bench. So like they signed Raheem Sterling. Raheem Sterling is first choice over there. That's on Christian Pulisic to be like, I'm going to be better than Raheem Sterling. I'm younger. I'm hungrier. I'm going to get this. That's on him to go get it. So Christian Pulisic, go get it. It could be Tuchel. It could be Graham Potter. It could be Sir Alex Ferguson. It can be anybody. Go get it. That's my challenge to Christian Pulisic. And then my prayer to the football gods is please, please let Gio Reyna not be injured. Let him be the man he wants to be. That's my prayer to Gio Reyna. That's my prayer to Gio Reyna. Cool. All right. Anyway, we don't have much time left. It's time for us to talk a little MLS. We had some MLS stuff.
Yeah, I mean, we can
a lot
make
of
that,
MLS stuff to talk about.
We can make that quick.
Well, I mean, I don't know. I have so many things I want to talk about. Let's we make quick. Let me boil it down. You don't want to talk NYCFC.
Well, I could.
Sacramento's dream is over. Orlando City won the U.S. Open Cup. Good for them. They had a spy. Remember the spy gate? And asked to leave. He wouldn't leave. Remember all that?
Yep.
That happened. I have no comments on it. I don't know what the ethics of cheating and spying on tactics are before the game. I'm probably against them, but if it's an open practice, it's not like, people can see it. I don't know what to tell you. Okay. Oh, so many rants. This is boiled down to 2 rants. So MLS is a fun, wild weekend and yada, yada. And my New York Red Bulls is plugging along, getting another good 3 points over the weekend. NYCFC is not.
Struber has guaranteed. Struber has guaranteed a derby win next Saturday.
I don't like the cockiness, but numbers dictate we will get the win. Now, granted, that might be extra motivation for NYCFC to pull off a win. But anyway, I don't want to talk about on-field results. They're fine. FC Dallas had a good game. Jesus Ferreira and Paul Arriola playing well. But FC Dallas, I've got 2 rants. Let's start with this one when we say over and over again.
Rant away.
I want to talk about VAR. I want to talk about VAR, Bjorn.
Okay.
What do you think I'm about to say about VAR?
You love it.
I do like VAR. But a perfectly good goal was taken away from FC Dallas because the VAR people didn't say anything. They stayed quiet. The goal was onside, on the counter, beautiful. It's like, what a great goal. Well done, FC Dallas. And the referee says, no goal, offside, no goal. And we look at the replay. He's perfectly onside. It's a perfectly good goal. He's not offside. He's onside. And then the commentator's like, but it's not clear and obvious enough for a VAR check. So the goal, I guess, was leave it be.
But that's
and that's sort of how, and that's what happened. It was never called back, never checked. It was just like moving on.
Wait.
It's like, why was a good goal taken away?
Wait, but what happened? I did not follow this, but like the commentator says,
FC, it was 0-0. No, I'm not blaming the commentators. It's the same thing we were talking about. You're saying they check every moment,
right?
If that's true, they checked this moment and said that's a good goal that the referee didn't allow, but we will not tell him anything. We will stay quiet. And I'm very curious as to why they do that.
Wait, but so you're saying they didn't check, or they
didn't check and the goal never stood, but it was a perfectly good goal. Onside, great goal. I was like, what a great goal. But it's not a goal because it was never checked. The referee made an error calling it not a goal, and it was never VAR checked, and they moved on.
But how do you know it wasn't checked? Because if they had checked it,
the referee never went to the field and checked the goal. Because if it was checked, it would have been a goal. You know what I'm saying?
But
VAR failed.
Okay.
It's VAR. What I'm saying is this. This is my rant. I don't want to get into specifics though. Okay, so that's the FC Dallas game. We have Juventus Salernitana or some crap. I don't remember the other club's name. They score a good third goal, a good winner. The Italian FA says the VAR only has 2 cameras they can use. And those 2 cameras showed it as offside or something. Like, but the game camera showed us a perfectly good goal. And they're like, we don't have that camera. We're sorry. And that's all they said. What I'm saying is VAR is spending way too much time figuring out if they're allowed to be used or not. We need to get rid of that crap. I don't want to hear clear and obvious ever again for the rest of my life. I don't want to hear it. It's such a subjective, dumb term. And the reason the FC Dallas goal wasn't checked is because the error wasn't clear and obvious enough. The call was too tight. It was a wrong call, but it was a tight call, so they moved on. What I say is no. The VAR chief says, yo, bud,
let me
check
see
that
this.
one again. Check that one again. That actually was onside. Run to the monitor and check that one again. I don't give a shit how clear and obvious it was.
Do you have video? Do you have video of this goal?
Well, that may lead to my next rant about MLS. Let me see here. It's FC Dallas. FC Dallas. The last thing, was it this one? Yeah, against LAFC. Let me do a little.
Yeah, you can't rant and send a link at the same time.
Yeah, I'm trying to. I'm sending a link. Aren't I sharing the thing? If I share the thing, they'll strike me, won't they? Let's see here. Yeah, will they strike us? They'll strike for that, I think. Let me cancel that right now. Actually, how do I stop sharing screen? Remove. I don't know. I'll send you the link to the highlights. I don't know if they have it on there or not. It was the first goal of the
I'll
thing.
find that. I'll find the highlights.
Yeah.
All right.
Highlights.
Well, you go on your.
Google it. Okay, so that's step one.
Rant.
VAR needs to be better everywhere. It needs to be better in England. It needs to be better in the USA. It needs to be better in Italy. They need to stop dilly-dallying over whether they're allowed to use it or not, when to use it. Use it every card moment, every goal moment. Use it for every major game decision.
But that's what they're supposed to be doing.
But they're not doing it. Then why was the FC Dallas goal not called? Why was the Italian winner not called? 2 weeks ago, we had the West Ham nonsense and the other nonsense. It's like, you're missing calls, man. Like, what did you see? What were you guys looking at? You know what I mean?
Well, my more nuanced, perhaps, opinion is that all the leagues do it differently. And
okay, well, this is how MLS should do it. Every call gets called. Every big call, goal is scored, it's checked, and then if it's wrong, you tell the ref. I know you say it happens every time. It doesn't. They miss it.
Well,
why do they miss it? It's a good goal. Call him and say that's a goal. Go on your screen and double check. And so he can go on his screen. He can look for himself, and then he can be like, "Oh yeah, it's onside." And then done. I just don't understand. So I'm actually very excited about this new offside assist technology they're introducing.
Well, that's supposed to be, black and white.
Yeah, I hope so. So hopefully that'll help us out a little bit. So the other rant is, will we see it in the highlights? I don't know. I hope so. But what I notice between MLS and MLS clubs is they like to censor their content. The other big thing I have to say is that NYCFC had a press conference last week, or I don't know, again after this Cincinnati game, right? After their one home tie to Cincinnati, was that the score? Their home point?
Yep. After an unbelievable own goal by Thiago Martins.
Right.
Unbelievable.
Right, exactly. Anyway, apparently Nick Cushing got into a little bit of a disrespectful row with one of the journalists or something. What does MLS do? They censor out the footage. No one has footage. You can't see it. It exists, but it's been cut, and you can't see it. They don't want to. You can only see the happy questions and the good report. And I'm just like, yo, man. When Jurgen Klopp was asked about Napoli, he's allowed to say, that's a stupid question. He's allowed to say it. And we get to watch because it's part of the show. Let us watch the highlights in full. Let us watch the bad calls. Let us watch the bad cards. Let us watch the angry, fucking grumpy ass press conferences of coaches yelling at journalists. Let us watch that. That's part of the league. That's part of the sport. That's part of the passion of human beings being imperfect. You know, MLS coaches and owners are quote unquote media trained. I hate that. In Europe and in South America especially, they say whatever the hell they want, and it is amazing. I want our billionaire owners to say whatever crappy ass, wacky ass shit they want to say. I want our coaches to yell. I want to hear everything. I don't want to hear like, oh, about to get in trouble. I want them to say all their things. And I don't want them to get. I heard a play-by-play of this press conference. Apparently, there just had a problem with one dude who attacked him on Twitter or something. Very petty of Nick Cushing, by the way. And he just looked at him and wouldn't give him light of day and was really smarmy with him. It was a little smarm. I think it only happened twice. It was on both of this guy's questions. And it's like, I want to see that. That's news, baby. That's on ESPN. That's news. And also, the reason he's doing it because he's under pressure. As a head coach, the questions were legitimate. They were good questions. He's allowed to answer. He lost. And now, like, if you fail, you have to answer for yourself. And we need to put this kind of pressure on coaches. Journalists are allowed to be the way they are. I just hate the idea of like, oh, that was a little awkward. Let's cut it. We just need to show them the press conference where he says, yeah, we give him 110% and next week we'll do better, and let's just show that stuff.
I agree with you. I don't think there's any problem in Cushing being a little testy. That's fine.
Let us see it. That's
I think shout out to Michael Allen from Blue City Radio, who was the recipient of it, and who handled this all very gracefully, I felt, on Twitter, and didn't really want to get into it, and was very kind towards Nick Cushing, and said it's sometimes we just lose our shit a little bit. It's okay. But yeah, I agree. They should not be cutting that out. I think that's a problem, that the team then decides, oh, this is not for public consumption. I think that's problematic, and I think that speaks to what you're saying. This idea of
statement
not being, like having, it's being a small enough audience that they can just get away with it. Like in the Liverpool, Liverpool press conference is going to be filmed by 24 people, and this would just not work. But so, by the way, this Dallas goal, you mean the Areola goal, the short post?
Maybe not the Areola goal. Did they pull that off?
He looks offside. I don't know.
No, I haven't seen. No, maybe was that the one? It's onside. I don't know if that's the goal. It was a clear line. Hold on, I'm looking up here. All right. In the replay, you'll see him onside, I think. I don't remember which one it was. It happened during the FC Dallas game.
Okay. Well, anyway, I know that is a problem with the MLS media. People being very protective, and it's too bad. Nick Cushing is under pressure. He continues to be under pressure. NYCFC is looking listless. The Cincinnati game was actually not so terrible, but the game in Charlotte this weekend was pretty much the low point.
No, 100%. I'm sorry, we'll talk about. Look at the 452, the freeze frame there.
452. My highlights only go till 4.
Oh, I have the 7.5 minute highlights from Major League Soccer. FC Dallas versus Los Angeles Football Club. Areola's equalizer. Right. Freeze frame of him onside. The defender's keeping him onside.
Wait, he looked okay. All right. Well,
do you see a freeze frame after the goal? Well, do you see the freeze frame after the goal?
Yeah, and he looked off in that one. No,
Look at his feet. His feet's behind the other guy's feet. It's at an angle. Remember, it's at an angle. And we have the football lines on the field to help us out.
The football lines? Wait.
Yeah, the football lines. So like the ones that Charlotte played with over the weekend.
Wait, who are you? What are we talking about right now? The
FC Dallas versus Los Angeles Football Club, September 10th, 2022.
Yeah, there's no football lines.
They're faded. I mean, I don't think you're looking at the same freeze frame. Here we go. Maybe I can share a freeze frame and they won't get in trouble.
All right. No. I'll get there.
Let's see here.
Hold on.
Just want to apologize, listener at home. We are the most unprepared podcast, I think, in the history podcast, but we are proud.
Don't say
we are proud. We are proud. We are proud. Just because his head is leaning forward doesn't make him offside. His feet are behind that guy's legs.
Wait, what? How can you say that with certainty? This is like at an angle.
Exactly. The angle serves the defender. If the camera is at less of an angle, he'd be way more. He'd be even more onside.
There's no way you know that for sure. Look at the line in front of him. No, I don't think this is.
You think it's offside?
I mean, it certainly could be.
All right. What I will say is this: you're right.
It's not as obvious. It's not as obvious as you.
Well, that's the thing. That's the thing. Okay, I get it. It's tight. It's very tight. We said it was tight. This needs those lines. This needs trigonometry done on it. You know what I mean? This needs that stuff done on it. We need to figure out exactly, because I look at that and I just don't think he's offside. I don't know. I look at that and I'm like, that's an onside player right there.
I don't know.
Yeah, let's.
I don't.
They're gonna flag me for this. Playing a little bit of it. So it's offside. I mean, look at that. I just don't think that's offside.
But look at the two lines. If you extend, no, I think he's off. I mean, he certainly could be off. I don't know if they don't do the. You don't review this and say like, oh, he's definitely on. No way. No, I don't think
very
this
tight. See, hold on. Like this, we have like his foot's here.
Yeah.
And then
but you gotta look at the two lines. See, they're not parallel. The line, there's a line. No, you gotta go back to the
right there, yeah. But it's crooked in a way that if we straightened it,
exactly. If we straightened it, he could be pretty. He could also be pretty off. I mean, he looks a half a body length off to me.
Really? I think if we adjust that length, like if we look at the point, if we look at this offside guy's eyes, we see this is more level than what we're seeing here on a bird's eye view. And I know his head is leaning forward, but I think his feet is behind this guy's feet, or at least level with this guy's feet. I think these guys.
But not if you look at the two faded football lines that he's in between.
Well, you're talking about this right here, or this change in grass?
I can't see your mouse right now.
Oh, sorry. The change in grass on the rear foot.
This is fascinating for our listeners.
But, okay, whatever. Maybe it was onside, maybe it was offside, but inch or not. But he never VAR reviewed it, and I would love for him to take a look at it. Because aren't you and me kind of in a little bit of disagreement? Go take a look at it and get tools with the measurements, the blue lines, and all that crap. Go do that on that goal. That's what I'm saying. Okay. FC Dallas win the game. I'm not expecting much, but I look at that and I'm just like, oh, give it a little more attention. That's a goal. That's a equalizing goal or whatever.
Well, I certainly is not obvious that he is on. I don't think. Well, anyway.
Well, that's what I'm saying. No, but that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. The whole clear and obvious thing. It was a goal. It was tight. Go take a look. Go double check. I don't give a shit that it wasn't obvious. Go double check. It was very tight. You have a free screen with a free thing where you can slow down.
But maybe the VAR person did check and they were like, oh, he's on.
Show us.
But you don't trust them. You think
show us.
Well, I guess yeah. I mean, in the Premier League, they show you the lines, and people are still upset. Everybody hates the referees, and VAR has not really fixed that because people. This is not an example of this because offside is a black. It's like either you're on or you're off. It's not a subjective call. But when it comes to penalties, red cards, it's always subjective. And just because you review it doesn't mean it's not subjective.
Well, I'm looking forward to this new technology. I'll tell you that.
For the offside, hopefully that'll work.
Looking forward to that.
But in Germany, we had, there's this Twitter account, Colinas Erben, the heirs of Colina, the Pierluigi, the bald referee,
the great Italian
referee. It's a great Twitter account of two German men who really will dig in and explain decisions from the point of view of the referee and illuminate the rules. And I've called upon them here and there when there were controversial decisions, and they're always great and responsive. But apparently, they have taken so much abuse over the years that they finally had too much this weekend, and they shut down the Twitter account. And they're like, we're not gonna do
send
this.
them this.
We're not gonna do this anymore. We are done. This was, I think, specifically after the Berlin game this weekend, where there was a controversial VA, and they said you can always discuss the facts and there's subjectivity, but people are just calling them names and being abusive on Twitter, and they're like, we're doing this voluntarily. Nobody's paying us for this, and we're just not gonna do it anymore.
Right.
So everywhere you look, the referees, people are, there's a story in Italy, in the Prem, people are upset. The Prem, I think, has done it the worst of all the leagues that I'm following.
They baffle
because
me
for them,
them,
it really, in the Premier League, it's always about how clear and obvious is the error versus what are we actually deciding. So they have done very poorly, I feel like. But everywhere else, people are still upset, and it's just not. It's hard to be a ref. People don't want to do it anymore because it's a difficult job and people get abused. So,
my thing is embrace the technology. We already started. Let's just make it better and better. That's my thing.
But I think it also has to do with trust. You don't trust. I mean, to me, I look at this Dallas goal and I'm like, oh yeah, he's probably off. And they probably looked at it.
Maybe
and
he
like,
is.
He's off.
Maybe he is.
And but you have no trust. You say they were.
What I will say is when you watch the broadcast,
at the wheel.
What I say, okay, let's say it was offside. It was very quickly dealt with. Like it was a very quick broadcast. I didn't freeze frame it or anything on the live broadcast. I looked at that and I'm just like, that looks pretty on. Like the call up pretty. Like I just want him to go take a look on the screen for himself again and do the measurements and figure it out. Take your time with it. Don't cancel a goal so quickly. Because I'll be honest with you, maybe it's a good goal. I don't know, but yeah. So what I'm saying is, it's like be able to sell all your big decisions and confirm them. There's no reason to confidently choose not to confirm. I think the FC Dallas players want a review. That's why Jesse Marsch was sent off the field at Leeds a couple weeks ago, because he wanted a review of a couple of things and they just said no. And it's like, why no? Go review them all. The footage is there. The thing is there. Go back and tell me it's offside and show me the blue lines with the confirmed measurements and the angles and blah, blah that say it's offside.
Well, hopefully we're going to, when it comes to offside, at least we will get that starting at the World Cup. Everything else.
I would love to change the handball rule.
Everything
there was, I think the Walker Zimmerman handball over the weekend for me was a little questionable. It was a whole thing. It's not an unnatural position, and like, you know,
this is my pet peeve. That is my pet peeve. The unnatural. What is that? Yeah, what is an unnatural?
The guy shot a rocket in the guy's hand, and then it was a handball and penalty.
If your hand gets cut in a wood chipper,
I know
that's an unnatural position.
Right. Like, we're going to cut off his hand. I don't know.
If you do this is a natural. Yeah. This is not an unnatural position.
I know.
It's perfectly natural to do that.
It's one of those. Anyway, it's also one of those reviews where it's like, I don't know, 50-50. But again, it's like I would love to just simplify that rule and, you know, revolve it. I think if it's clear ball to hand, it's not a penalty. If it's clear hand to ball, is a penalty. You know. And if it's unclear, use your best judgment. Right now, they're doing this thing where it's like it's a guaranteed to be a penalty because the rule is if it hits your hand, it's a penalty. And it's like, I don't know. I'm seeing some pretty crazy penalties because of that rule. I miss when it was looked at and be like, that was a mistake. Let's move on. You know what I mean?
I think I might be ready to get rid of VAR. I think, one could argue that it really doesn't matter. Like, the only problem is, you know, that everybody has access to video. So you can then go back and be like, oh, this is, because really, arguably, it doesn't matter if it's the correct decision as long as a decision is made.
What do you mean? It has to be the correct decision. It better be the correct decision.
Well, it's subjective one way or another. So if you get it, if you make it, if one person makes the decision, unless they're corrupt, if they're doing their best and they're getting it wrong, it's just part of the game. This VAR thing sort of sells you on this illusion of objectivity, which is just not. It's not.
No.
It's you just don't. some things are just
They
subjective.
should do a study. They should do some sort of a study, and they should see if the accuracy of the calls have increased since VAR. I imagine it has.
I mean,
Could
they
be wrong
must.
about
Yeah,
that.
but like
I
at the
hope
same
so.
yeah. But it
But
seems like
maybe
people are
only marginally so.
people are more upset than they were
Yeah.
before.
Well, it was,
Anyway.
and their defense was for big stuff. It was for like mistaken identity and stuff like that. And I think that is hopefully what's there to help. I don't think we've had major things because of that, you know. But, you know, anyway, that's just my rants. The bigger rant, we talked VAR forever, but I think the bigger, more serious rant is let us see it, let us hear it, like let the fans know. Like, stop keeping everything such a secret, stop censoring everything. You know, I want to hear more from the owners. I want to hear from
We like
transparency. I want to see what the coaches have to say. I want to see it. I want to hear it. I want to see if NYCFC is on a skid and the NYCFC coach is crappy to someone in the press box, we deserve to see that.
We deserve to see the abuse.
Why censor it? Like, don't you know anything about like, do you know anything about entertainment? I don't know. Don't censor it. Let's watch. Let's talk about it. Let's be a thing. I love it. I want it.
Meanwhile, LAFC is losing the Supporters Shield. Looks like Philly might get it.
Perhaps. That's right. We have a few. Maybe New York Rebels will come in. We'll see.
What?
Look like Montreal will make the playoffs.
The
this year.
Shields come on now.
Oh,
Montreal clinched the playoffs. Yeah,
we don't have room.
And on Wednesday we have the Campeones Cup final, which if we win it, it's going to be a very important cup for us. If we lose it, it's a meaningless friendly.
Oh wow! Well, next week I look forward to talking about the friendly, and I look forward to talking about the NYC Derby this weekend.
Yeah, which I'm going to miss. I'm going to attend my mother's 75th birthday in Germany, and I'm going to miss the Derby. Germany? Yeah, just for the weekend.
Oh wow, sweet. Well, that's cool. So, you're going to Germany. So if you go anywhere, Schnitzel Boys need to go to Germany. We need to go to Deutschland.
That's right.
Cool. Well, I don't think we're going to be missing much. It'll probably be like a 3-0 destruction.
Of the Red Bulls, we're gonna turn things around.
No, of course not. With who? How? With Nick Cushing whining about people tweeting at him? No, never. It'll be we'll have Lewis Morgan scoring maybe even 2, and then Caden Clark off the bench scoring a 3rd.
I wish I could. I wish I had any reason to stand up for my team in this, but they have looked listless. Yeah.
Well, you said last week it's like we've got Colorado we've got Cincinnati and Charlotte next, and normally it's supposed to be exciting, but I'm not. And then sure enough, you got 1 out of 6 points. You got 1 point.
1 point. Yeah.
Oh, you were right.
And we were up a man for 40 minutes against Charlotte. Could barely get a shot on goal. It's quite sad.
I know. It's beautiful. All right. Have a good look at the Campeones Cup. See you next weekend. I'll see you next week. It's been Schnitzel Boys.
Yeah.
We've had a lot to share, a lot to talk about. We're glad that Bjorn is back for a bit before he goes to Deutschland again.
That'll be quick.
Are you going to be back by Monday?
Yep.
Oh, okay. Wow, that's quick. Where in Germany? Is this München or are we talking?
Mülheim. My parents live in Mülheim an der Ruhr.
Mülheim. That's right. Well, excellent. That'll be fun. Are you going to eat a currywurst when you're there?
I hope so.
Yeah, hell yeah. Excellent. Are you going to get one of those? Are you going to go to a festival and get one of those chocolate hearts or whatever? What are they called?
No.
Lebkuchenherzen.
I'm not a fan of those. No, I don't.
I love those. They make those with the Bundesliga club. It's amazing.
I'm not a Lebkuchen guy.
I love Lebkuchen. What's your favorite German candy? I know we're trying to get out of here, but I want to
anything rhubarb, like anything rhubarb cake. Oh, candy? I'm not a big candy guy.
Okay.
German or otherwise.
Yeah. Excellent.
What happened?
Excellent. Nothing. I just got charged for some sort of pharmacy subscription I forgot to cancel. That's okay. Oh. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, it's been Schnitzel Boys. Eat your rhubarb. Say your prayers and brush your teeth. We've been the Schnitzel Boys. We're here every week. Tschüss.
Tschüss.
Bis nächste Woche.